What's up, guys? So today's video is going to be about my Z900. Just going to do kind of a review on it on 2,000 kilometers and compare it to my old FZ09, which is a huge thing online with guys looking at this bike or the FZ09, like myself was. I almost bought the FZ09. So let me switch the camera on here and I'll show you the bike, show you the parts I put on it so far. I've had it for just the summer, basically. So it's a 24 Z900. It's not I think it's an SE model, which would come with the better shocks on it. This is just, I don't know if it's a base model or however you call it. But friends of mine own Extreme FX in Windsor, Ontario, and they gave me a good deal on this. I also priced out the FZ09, basically around the same price range, these bikes. The FZ09 would have a little more options on it in the electronic part, but I decided to try this. I've never had one of these. So I'm going to go with it. I had a Ninja way back in the day. I think one of my first 1000s was a ZX10. It was a good bike. And then I rode Gixxers, a bunch of Gixxer 1000s, a bunch of R1s. Then I went to the MZ09. I took a break for a few years because of all our stunt driving laws and stuff over in Ontario. But now it's just, you basically got to outrun the cops with your lights on. So this bike will do that. So yeah, anyways, I'll show you what's on here. So I changed the mirrors out, phone holder. I put the full M4 exhaust on it. And that's a really nice exhaust system. It fit perfectly, no issues, sounds really good. It's got the carbon fiber. It's really high quality, actually, that exhaust. I've put a lot of aftermarket exhaust on my stuff before at all the different machines. And this M4 is, I'm pretty impressed with it, the quality of it and the sound of it, which I'll fire it up here in a bit. I also changed out the tail light and tail section, which everybody knows these bikes come with those big goofy turn signals around the back. So it just comes with a little block off plate, or you can put your plate there. I chose to put it down there. Alicia can't see it. So my tail light also is aftermarket. TST Industries, I believe, is where I got this kit from. And the tail light has turn signals built in, and when you hit the brake light, it flashes really bright. It's all LED, so it really gets people's attention. It's more of definitely a safety thing. So no one runs in the back yet, and the turn signals are really cool built in it, which I'll show you that too. So let's get to the comparison on my FZ09. My FZ09 also, it was a 2016, so it was a lot older in this bike, but I mean, you can get a good comparison on them, I think. And this bike too, also, guys, I tried to dyno tune it, but the guy didn't have the right plug. The bike's so new. They changed them or something, I don't know. We did get a couple passes on the dyno, and it was running just under 120 horsepower to the rear wheel with this exhaust on it. So not too bad. And once it's tuned, I don't know what it's going to get. Hopefully 130, I would think. Maybe if someone's done theirs, they can throw it in the comments. So that's pretty good. It's not bad. I'd rather a bike around the 180, 200 mark, but that would have to be, I'd have to go with the H2 model, which probably might happen. That might be, I'm going to ride this one more year, and then I might upgrade to that H2, or I've heard they might be coming out with the Z1000 again. That would be pretty cool. So comparing this to the FZ09, the FZ09 feels more of a dirt bike in like supermoto style. Where this bike, which I really like about it, and I'm glad I went with this, is you still kind of feel like you're on a sport bike, because it's got the inline 4 motor. The way you sit a little bit more forward, so you have that sport bike feel, but you still have the Street Fighter feel to it. Like, it definitely doesn't feel like a supermoto bike, but you get the Street Fighter feel, plus it still does have that sport bike feel to it. So, and then your power is, like the MT09 definitely has a little more grunt out of the hole, like I would say a little more torque. This bike's rated with more torque, I know that, but the MT09 feels like it's really wheelie ready, the MT09, which this thing is too. But you got to kind of be in the revs a little bit more with this one, which, I mean, it's an inline 4, so it's expected. But it does have, and this thing wheelies no problem, and I still got to get tuned. Like, it's not running right. It's kind of spitting and sputtering because it needs more fuel, or it's getting too much. I'm not sure what's happening. But it's a full exhaust, and you take the stock exhaust off this. The thing's got this thing, they call it a bread box or something. Plus, you got your tiny little muffler port on it, and everything's just so restricted. And it's got a Cadillac converter on it. So this is a huge weight reduction. Plus, the bike's going to just breathe a lot better. So I recommend definitely putting a pipe on one of these. It wakes it up. And when this thing's stock, you can barely hear it running. So there's that. In my FZ09, I also had the M4 exhaust on it too. So that bike had a pipe on it. And so it's basically kind of the comparison thing. So if you're watching this and you're wondering, man, do I get an FZ09? Do I get the Z900? I would just go basically, if you can test ride them, 100% do that. I know a lot of places you can't really, they don't really have demos like these. But if you can demo both bikes, do that, because there's a big difference in these bikes, a huge difference when you ride them. If you're more of a dirt bike supermoto guy, that's how you want to feel when you're riding your bike, go with the FZ09. And then you got really low end power. If you want more of the sport bike feel and like a street fighter feel, I would go with this bike. And that's why I'm glad I went with this bike. I did get a really good deal on it. That's why I went with it. And I just kind of wanted to try it. Like I've always wanted a Z1000 and I couldn't really find any low mile used Z1000s. So I started pricing new bikes out and my buddy gave me a really good deal on this. So this is what I'm riding. And I'm going to stick with one of these. Like my next bike is, if they go with the Z1, I'll get one of those. If not, it'll be the H2. So let me fire this up for you guys and I'll show you this pipe on it here. It's cold, so I'm not going to rev it up. And here's the dash on this thing. It's got like different modes. It's not as high tech as the Yamaha, like I said, but it's got a bunch of different modes. You still got everything. It's got ABS, which I'd rather have none of that stuff, but it comes with it, so there's not much you can do. How's the cold start? That M4 sounds really good. I'll show you that tail light, the turn signals. I can't really show you the brake light. So it's pretty cool tail light system on that. So there it is. That's my Z900 up to 2000K. Extremely happy with it. And if you're in the market, I would go with one of these. I mean, they come with a couple different colors too. I really like the green. I mean, it's Kawasaki, so it's the green. So yeah, basically guys, if you're looking for an FZ09 or this bike, it depends on how you want to feel. I don't know. They're both good bikes. I just like the more of the sport bike feel. So I like the Z900, which I don't know, the MT09, FZ09, however you want to call it. It's a cool bike too. I like them both, but I just I'm going to lean a little more towards the Z900 on this one. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And I got some other things coming up, another trip. Every trip I go on this year in Michigan's been dusty. Let me flip the thing around here. So my Can-Am, I just put new tires on this yesterday. These ones are 10 ply. My other one, I had a pretty big gash. I couldn't fix it. So I just found these tires for a pretty good deal. So I put them on. I'm going to try these out. So I got a trip coming up in a couple weeks in November. Hopefully it freaking rains in Michigan. It gets a little dust control there. Because it's not really, I don't put too many miles on in the dust. When you get a bunch of machines, it gets dangerous. You can't see it, and it just sucks in the dust, basically. And then hopefully we get some snow this year. I only put 180 miles on this thing last year. Ended up riding in Utah for a week. It's the only snowmobiling I really did. So I'm really hoping we get some freaking snow this year to try, so I can actually try this Assault out. Because I went from a 121 to this 146 and haven't really got to try it. So yeah. So again, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and thanks for watching.